Daniel Wade, can you hear me? Welcome in, welcome back. How do we get people over from the other stream is my question. Anybody know how to do that? Yo, can you hear me? Type it in the chat. Is it coming through okay? Oh, yeah, Stylight, you're here bright and early. Fantastic. Good to see you. Couldn't imagine doing this without you. Beautiful. All right, here's the topic. Tell me how you're feeling. I just want to know. I want to know if you have anxiety. I want to know your score predictions. I want to know your confidence level. I want to know your concern level. I want to know your reaction to the other games we've seen so far. What is it? And I want to know, how come my original stream I set up that I promoted, the key's dead and I'm not able to use it? Frustrating. I don't like being late for stuff, and I already was. I'm glad you guys are all coming over now. So, first true road game since Michigan. Listen, concerned. I see some people concerned. Listen, here's the thing. Here's the thing about being concerned. Week 1 games lend themselves to being concerned always. Week 1 comes with inherent randomness that causes you anxiety, or causes me anxiety at least. Beatsville, you're asking me of all people to take you off the ledge. How do you think that's going to work? Although I am going to say this. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. I'm having anxiety about the fact that I'm not having a lot of anxiety about the game. I feel kind of confident about this. We're in two totally different places as a program, looking at where we are and where Florida State is. Two vastly different places as a program, as maturity as a program. Two different places. Notre Dame should be able to overcome this environment, settle down quickly, and run away with this ball game. I'm sorry. I don't think they're good on the lines. I just think we're in different places and should win. I'm sorry. Reggie, I don't think they've named their starting quarterback yet. They have two. They might be both. It might be one. It might be the other. If you have two, do you really have one? Those are some of my questions. If you have two, do you even have one? Jack Cohn, Cody Wayne, that's a really good point. What are you going to see from Jack Cohn? It's weird because we're so used to Ian Book going out there and you know what you're going to get from him. Good, bad, or in the middle. At least you know what you're going to get when it's Ian Book. This is interesting because it's a guy that we don't really know what it's going to look like. Stylight, go with the Blue Moon. It's just a little bit classier. Maybe your mom could buy it for you because I don't think you're of age. So maybe you can give your mom $20 and she'll go buy you a pack of Blue Moon for the game. I don't know. I think it's Travis as well. Quinn says he think it's Travis. I think it's Travis as well. But I just think they're playing games. They want Notre Dame to have to prepare for two different guys. Who's it going to be? Not scared. I don't care. I don't care who it is. Defensive line, get after it. I don't care which guy. Run them both out there. Get them. Tyler Robinson wants to see Blake Fisher. So do I. Here's the other thing about Blake Fisher playing so young. there may be some growing pains, but he's got an adult man's grown ass football body, and he could get those growing pains out of the way while being decent this year. And then in a couple years, he's going to be a monster. And then that could be a guy where, are you going to get all 4 years out of him or not? That's a guy that might just hop over and go to the league in 3 years. Daryl brings up a very good point. Who shows up at receiver? Again, we are in a position where it could be super exciting and there's a ton of upside potential, but potential, time to see it. Let's see it. These guys are capable. We have speed. We have athletes. Get out there and show it tonight in front of everybody. There's no other games. It's all you in front of all of America. Beatsville, I can't thank you enough for this super chat. Loyal supporter, thank you so much. You and your wife, thank you. Take care. Enjoy the ball game. Nick Dean, is estimate going to play? He's 5th on the depth chart. He probably could play. He looks like a 42-year-old man with a mortgage, a car note, and child support. That's how old he looks. He doesn't look like a freshman, I'll tell you that for sure. Stylite, Austin opens things up big time to allow Lindsey to finally do something outside of sweeps. Stylite and I have been going back and forth on Lindsey for a long time now. We really have. We've been going back and forth on Lindsey, what he's capable of. How much of it did we not see because he was injured, not healthy? All of that. I want to see him get more involved in things more than just those little trick plays, those little gadget plays. I want to see Lindsey be a part of the offense week in, week out. That's what I want to see. Run a damn screen to Tyree, Nick Dean says. I'm all about that. Listen, any different way you can get Tyree the ball and get him involved, I'm all for. I know his blocking wasn't ideal last year, and that's why people are saying he wasn't more involved. Get Tyree the ball in any amount of space and watch what happens. I guarantee you're going to like it. I want to see these running backs get more involved in the passing game tonight. I think there's a lot of really unique, cool stuff you could do if you get those guys in space. They don't need much. They just need a little bit of space. That's all. Just a little bit of space. Daniel Wade, why do we not have speed returning punts? What the hell? I can't answer that. I don't understand it. What, Daniel, why are you trying to get me all worked up 2 hours before the game? Explain to me why Notre Dame has all this speed, athleticism, and talent, and then they want to walk on to fair catch every punt instead of trying to make some yardage out of it. I don't understand. Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me why that is not a part of the game plan, is to get some chunk yardage out of kicks and punts. I don't understand it. Ever heard of Timmy Brown? Ever heard of the Rocket? Notre Dame has a good history of running back kicks and punts. I need to see more of it, quite frankly. I need to see more of it. Secondary, want to see who can get the ball and force some turnovers. Secondary is always something you're looking out for if you're a Notre Dame fan. We have guys, but it's like, I need 4 Julian Loves out there. I need 3 Kyle Hamilton. Like, when we get guys, they don't overlap. It's never like I have 2 Julian Loves and a Kyle Hamilton. It's like always staggered. I need multiple Kyle Hamiltons. I need about 3 Julian Loves out there to feel comfortable. Okay. Stylite, you can't really teach guys to be returners. It's just usually you're good at it or you're not. Well, then find somebody who is good at it and let them do it. What's your point? You're telling me none of these guys can catch it and have vision and pick a crease and be gone? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. There's 3 phases to winning football, and Notre Dame has the athletes to use all three. So let's see it. Notre Dame's been in the top 25 in punt returning for the last 6 years. Yes, in yardage not gained by fair catching. I agree with you. Good call. Roy, boy, I want to see our wideouts explode. Listen, I wouldn't even know what to do if tonight I look back on this game and say, holy crap, look at Notre Dame lighting it up, distributing the ball to the receivers, getting guys open in space and letting them run. I'm all about it. We just haven't seen it. Joey Getherall, David Knight, Joey Getherall, Nebraska, the little guy running the pump back. Give me some of that. Doesn't even have to be a touchdown. Just give me a little bit. Every single yard matters. Riker Ferg, it's glad to see you in the chats, buddy. I miss you. Are you even on Twitter anymore? I think I looked for you and I didn't see you. Where the hell have you been, Riker? Where have you been? Can't Braden Lindsay return him? I don't think they want him doing that. And there's a list of other guys that are fast that I would like to see do it too. I just need somebody to do it. At this point, I don't care who it is. I just need to see somebody doing it. Zach Bennett, Mackenzie Milton scares me. I go to UCF and he's the real deal. Here's my question. God bless him for coming back after that horrific injury that almost literally cost him his entire leg. God bless him for coming back. But I just don't know what you're going to get. What is that mobility like? I just don't know. And I don't know how Florida State's going to want to play this. I really don't. I would like to think our front seven is good enough that they're going to get after whoever it happens to be. I want to think that. I really want to think that. A. Sortino tried to call into the Feinbaum show for 3 hours straight Wednesday. Woo! They must have screened you out because they knew you weren't an SEC homer. So their call screener just blocked you out and you were not eligible to get your call in. I think that's what happened there. Tyler Robinson, I will return punts. Go ahead and return them. All you got to do is wave your hand to catch it. You're never going to get hit if you return punts for Notre Dame. You just got to wave and catch it. That's all. That's all you got to do. Jack Does Sports. What are your expectations for Cohn and what is your score prediction? Here's my expectations for Cohn. Cohn is a super senior guy on his last year of eligibility with a ton of experience. What I need from Cohn is efficiency and no mistakes. I have no patience for a super senior guy on his last year to be throwing dumb interceptions, not seeing guys wide open, forcing his progressions too quick and doing something silly. No, that's why Cohn came here, because you shouldn't have to worry about that with him. So I expect Cohn to play as a super senior would play. Smart football, take care of the ball, don't put it in harm's way, make smart, sound decisions. Now, the trickier part of this question is the back end score prediction. If you've noticed the scores from these other first week one games, there is a lot of struggling offenses in college football in week one. There is a lot of struggling offenses, and many of them are coming from teams that we all thought were going to be really good. It's not like some of that lack of offense is coming from all the teams we're not thinking are really good. I mean, I understand how good Georgia's defense is, but Clemson not scoring a touchdown all night, I didn't have that in the books. I wasn't predicting that. I don't think anybody was, regardless of how good Georgia's defense looks. And they look very athletic, very fast, and they swarm like nobody's business. The other thing is Clemson's defense looked good too. Let's not act like Georgia was lighting up the scoreboard with touchdowns. They scored on the defensive side of the ball. But I don't know what to predict the final score of tonight. but I do think Notre Dame wins by double digits. Whatever the score is, I'm not sure. Looking at all these other offenses struggling week one is in my head. So I don't know what that final score is going to look like. Notre Dame's winning by double digits. If not, I'm going to have a stroke on this channel. I'm going to have a stroke on this channel if we don't win by double digits. It's nothing offensive to Florida State. We're just in two different places as a program. Let your maturity show. Let your program maturity show. I got to go back up. Tyler Reese, $4.99 super chat. Can't thank you enough for the support. Love what you do. Refreshing perspective on the team I love. Go Irish. Tyler, that's what I'm here for. And I'm glad there's a niche for what I do and the unique way I do it. But I appreciate your support. Go Irish. So that's what I'm looking at from Cohn. Final score prediction. Not sure the numbers, but Notre Dame by double digits. It's just got to be. It's just got to be. And if it's not, there's something really wrong. Really, really wrong. Florida State is still in the middle of this rebuild, and they have a lot of moving parts, a lot of transfer portal guys in. A lot of their reliable talent is gone after last year. Questions on the lines. Who's the quarterback? Notre Dame is entering this game with a sense of calmness. Like a quiet, calm confidence is kind of the vibe I've been getting from Kelly and just from around the team and the media. And I dig it. I like that calm, quiet confidence, but it has to be backed up or it's all BS. Like that's where the rubber meets the road. I appreciate that confidence going in, but you got to back it up or it's all just talk that means nothing to me. So I need to see us back that up. Okay. Tyler Buckner, future Heisman winner. That's a heck of a YouTube name. I dig it. And it said, did you see that Georgia defense talk about speed? Yeah, they were fantastic all night. They were fantastic all night. I'll tell you the one thing I'm a little surprised by. I'm a little surprised Clemson's offensive line couldn't fight back at all against that defensive front from Georgia. I expected it to be a struggle because we all know how athletic that Georgia defense is. But the fact that Clemson had no answer at all for those blitzes really surprised me. It did surprise me a lot. Now, here's what I was thinking about after that Clemson-Georgia game ended. How much does this result actually matter in the big picture? Georgia beating Clemson. Think about it. Can't you see a scenario where, obviously, in the ACC, the game Clemson played last night was their biggest game of the year against their toughest opponent of the year? Clemson could very easily run the table, win the ACC, and they'll be in the playoff as a one-loss conference Power 5 champion, right? So I don't know exactly how much that result's going to matter long-term for the playoff. Because I just think Clemson's going to get in with one loss as the ACC champion. So I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see that not be the case, but I could see it going that way. Yeah, Clemson O-line got ragdolled. They really did, and they had no answer. And it's just good to see somebody else other than us play a really great defense and have that frustration of the quarterback running around, nowhere to go, no time to do anything, all that kind of stuff, okay? Boston Irish, seems like the defense the last few years could struggle early, then adjustments come up, the Irish lock the opposition down. Any sense to how good the new staff is at those in-game modifications? That's a part, I think, of what we're all looking to see with this Marcus Freeman-led defense. That's the other thing. Here's something else I'm going to tell you guys. This is a tiny little detail, a very tiny detail, but it's something that I think about and I notice and I personally like. I like the fact that Marcus Freeman's going to run this defense from the sideline, being down on the ground. not up in the booth. Now, I get that your view of everything is going to be probably better up above in the press box. However, I love the fact that we're going to get that interaction on the field between Freeman and the players, either good interaction, bad interaction, celebrate, pull a guy, tell me did something wrong, whatever it is. I like the fact that Freeman likes being connected with those guys and being on the sideline with them. I like that energy. I like that vibe. I like him being able to communicate with our guys in real time on the sidelines as things are happening. Daniel Wade, no offensive TDs for either team was very surprising. Nobody had that in the books. I mean, if you told me it was going to be a low-scoring slugfest between two talent-laden teams, I would have said, yeah, sure. But no offensive touchdowns. Nobody would have picked that. Nobody would have picked that. Okay. So Nick Dean, 7 sacks and 5 passes defended. Pretty good job by the Georgia defense. You have to tip your cap. They were fantastic all night. They were absolutely fantastic all night. Stylight 27-20. I'm assuming Notre Dame. I got to see us win this game by more than a touchdown. I understand it's a tricky environment. I understand it is the Bobby Bowden Memorial Super Bowl game, and they're going to build that up. I understand it's hot and it's humid. I understand this is a road game. I understand that all their fans are going to be drinking all day, and that place is going to be rocking and loud. All night. All night. Stop the chop. Okay? I'm already sick of it. Hashtag stop the chop. I'm sick of it already. Already sick of it. 2 hours to game time, and I'm over that chop. Joseph Barrett, Notre Dame needs to send a message tonight. I agree. That's why I put out the video a few days ago with the Tupac song, All Eyes on Me. All eyes on me. Tonight is an absolutely wonderful opportunity for Notre Dame to prove to everybody that thinks we're taking a step back. And by the way, there's a lot of people who do think that, and they don't do the research. They just get asked in passing on the game, and they say, look at how many guys Notre Dame lost to the league. They shouldn't be ranked 9th. You know, that kind of thing. That's where this rebuilding versus reloading kicks in. If you can show tonight that you lost all that talent to the NFL and you are still able to go out there and play high-level football beginning to end and beat Florida State on the road, Bobby Bowden Super Bowl and everything, then you're going to get some people's attention. Now, many people are just going to say, even if that happens, well, Florida State's bad. That's the only reason. You know, there's a lot of that. But you can only do what you could do. And the facts are the facts. So tonight is a great opportunity to prove to everybody you are indeed reloading, not rebuilding. Okay? Not rebuilding. There were 57 college football games yesterday. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 57 ball games yesterday. There is only one ball game on tonight. One. Every single person in America that likes college football or even regular football at all is going to be watching Notre Dame, Florida State. It is a prime time showcase, and it's a double-edged sword. You go out and play well, everybody's going to see it. Half the country's going to love it. Half the country's going to hate it, but everybody's going to see it. You could damn sure bet that. You could damn sure bet that. That's the thing about Notre Dame and their viewership. Yeah, they get a ton of views, but it's not like everybody watching them loves them. You got to always keep that in mind. Half the people that tune into Notre Dame games are hoping they lose. There's nothing I want more than to ruin those people's nights tonight. Matthew Thomas, argument from a Florida State site. Cohn is flat-footed and pedestrian. Kelly said he worked on his footwork. Like, listen, I will say this. I have heard recently from multiple people that Jack Cohn isn't as slow and flat-footed as most people write him up to be. I've had multiple people tell me that Johnny's not exactly a statue back there. You might actually be surprised by what you see in terms of mobility. Something to look at as well. This Cohn thing is weird. It's just like it's like a free agent in college football. It's just a weird dynamic that we don't have this long drawn out history with the Notre Dame starting quarterback. We just don't have that here. And it's something ultra interesting to look at. It's just a bizarre feeling that I don't have this history book on this guy. So we'll see how it goes. I think he'll be ready. Shouldn't be overwhelmed by the moment. You can't be a super senior and be overwhelmed by this moment. That is the reason he's the starter and not one of these young guys, is because of that super senior reliability type feature that he provides. So I expect to see stable consistency from Jack Cohn. If not, then I don't know what we're doing here. Right? Like, if we're not going to get that out of a super senior, what are we doing this for? Start the young guys. Get the growing pains out of the way. If we're doing this with Cohn, let's go, baby. I got to be ready. I got to see it. Nick Dean, 27-17 Notre Dame. 17 is about in that range. Honestly, Nick, it's interesting that you choose 27-17. 17 is in that target range for me that I want Notre Dame's defense to average giving up over the entire year. Definitely under 20, but that 17-point mark is just about right. That's where I want to see us be. 27-17. That would give me my double-digit win that I was asking for. I think that's a reasonable selection, Nick. And that's 17 you hit. That's what I want to see our average be for the year. Now, is that tough to do? Yes, it is tough to do. But the defense is the backbone of the program. And now they got a guy who's supposed to be even a better defense coordinator than the last guy we had that was supposed to be good. Who, by the way, Clark Lee, after week 1 for Vanderbilt, he probably wishes he was back coaching the Notre Dame defense. Jeez, I know it's Vanderbilt, but my God, that was a bad effort. Jeez, give me a break, Clark. Luke Schweitzer, thank you for the kind words. Cannot wait for the ball game and love the content, dude. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Benny, can we take a moment to laugh at Miami? Why, yes, we certainly can. Like, this is exactly what you knew it was going to be. It's exactly what you knew it was going to be. It just is. It's exactly what you thought it'd be. It ended up being what it's going to be. Listen, I respect Miami for scheduling that game week 1 and doing that. That's not an easy thing to sign up for because you kind of feel like you're going to get the beating of a lifetime that sets the tone for your entire season week 1. So I do credit them for scheduling this ball game. Also, I got to give some scheduling credit for Clemson and Georgia for both not playing Central, Junior High School, whatever, week 1, in scheduling that big-time ball game last night. So kudos to them on that scheduling. That's big boy scheduling, and I do respect them scheduling that game, okay? So, yeah, the Miami thing, is Miami back? Yeah, they're back to not being any good. That's what they're back to, okay? That's what they're back to. And you know what else, too? Maybe when you're losing by 78 points and you get a turnover, leave the turnover chain sitting on the ground or in that case. I'm not in the mood for your braggadocious, flashy chain when you're losing by 100. Keep the chain in the box. Here you go. How about this? There's the Always Irish chain. You like that? We're going to start wearing this. There you go. I got it on the live stream. The Always Irish turnover chain. Hear it jangle? Give me a break. Maybe when you're losing by 100, keep the chain locked away. You don't get to do that when you're losing by that much. You just don't, okay? Jake does sports. I can't believe the spread is only 7. Listen, Jake brings up a good point, and I got to ask this question philosophically speaking. I don't quite understand what has happened that has made the Notre Dame-Florida State line go down so much. I don't understand, like, what has happened. There's been no major injury, like, to the point where I could see that line changing that much. So I don't get why the bettors are going to the Florida State side this week and bringing that point spread down. I don't get it. Are they watching more national media saying Notre Dame lost too much talent or what? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Tyler Buckner, future Heisman winner. Brian Kelly has the look like he knows how good his team is. That's exactly what I was referencing. That vibe of just like this calm, confident demeanor, which I love. I love that confidence. A lot of college football is based on confidence in one area and emotion in the other. And I like it, but I'm hesitant to buy into it because you got to back it up first. So I'm cool with it. But if Notre Dame goes and lays an egg, then I'm going to be right back on here giving Kelly a hard time saying, you were all cool sitting back like you know what's going on, and then you got worked over in prime time. So obviously you didn't have a pulse of where your guys were. So I love that calm, quiet confidence from Kelly as long as it translates this evening. As long as it translates, then I love it. I'm buying into it. Okay? Love it. But it's gotta translate tonight. No, not week 3. No, not in the middle of the season. Tonight. Translate it tonight. Irish gonna whoop up on FSU like anybody playing Bishop Sycamore by the Fifth Horseman. That's a good call by you. Very timely joke reference. I like that. That's a good one. Roy boy, I want to put up a 40 burger on him. Listen, I'm telling you what. I'm always predisposed to worry about the glass half empty. Okay, the glass half empty. What could go wrong? Somebody like me sometimes needs to take a step back and let myself imagine what it could actually be like if things go great for once. What if the offense under Jack Cohn and this new Tommy Rees, high flying, winging the ball all over, and then in the middle of all that throwing, we sneak in some handoffs and guys are off to the races. Oh, and also that Marcus Freeman defense is locked down, more aggressive, see some unique things, make us already a strength, even a bigger strength. That would be fantastic. That's the high end of what it could be like tonight. That's the high end of what it could be like tonight. The low end, we're not even going to talk about it. We're not even going to go there. There's no reason to go there. Roy boy, 40 burger. If this new look offense can score 40, listen, I know Florida State's down. Their defense isn't supposed to be that great. I'm well aware of that. I understand that fully. But if you're trying to implement a new offense, I don't care who it's against. If a Notre Dame team could score 40 in week 1, however you get them, I'm going to love it and I'm going to take them. Michael Johnson says it's hot in Tallahassee. Here's the thing. You knew it was going to be smoking hot down there. Like you just knew it was going to be. But it is at night. So it's still going to be humid, but at least it's not in the blazing sun at 2 p.m. in Florida. And it's been hot as hell in the Midwest most of camp with that high Midwest humidity. So I'm hoping that cramping and all those things you worry about that fire heat down in Tallahassee isn't going to be too bad for our guys. Okay. Daniel Wade, $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate you. Daniel, you're here for everything I do. I appreciate you, man. You're always on the ball with it. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you like this show, so thank you very much. Andrew Kennedy, who happens to be my literal brother, says calm is only good if you dominate. I can see why we're brothers, literally. Like that calm, cool, we got it type vibe is great only if you back it up. And if you don't, then I'm going to be all over you saying, why were you sitting there acting like you knew this team was good when you weren't? So I'm all about this calm, quiet, cool confidence as long as you back it up. As long as you back it up. Christopher says, spill any beer on anybody yet this weekend? And I know what he's referencing. No, I have not. Not only have I not spilled beer on anybody, but I didn't get framed for spilling beer on anybody either, which was my issue last week when I got blamed for a social catastrophe that wasn't even my fault in public, made me look bad. Bad situation. Perfect for always annoyed content, but bad situation. Boston Irish, $4.99 super chat. Thank you enough for being here. Thank you for all you do. Best and most entertaining Irish analysis. I appreciate that, Boston Irish. Here's the thing with this, and you know this if you've been around my show for any amount of time. I have never claimed, nor will I claim, that I am the best X's and O's Notre Dame guy to break down this 30 front and what they're doing with this blitz and this package and moving this guy around. That is never going to be my expertise. My expertise is the emotions and feelings that go into being a diehard Notre Dame football fan. We ride that roller coaster, and I ride it with you guys. We all ride it together, and it's fantastic. Like I put on Twitter this morning, right when I woke up, my stomach was turning. There is nothing that fills up my soul more than that Notre Dame game day stress. I don't think it's healthy for me, but I still love it. It is what it is. I know it's not healthy, but I love it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It is healthy to care about something this much. It is. It is healthy for you to have something in your life you care this much about, that you don't even mean for it to happen, but you wake up and your stomach is in knots about how it's going to go. That is healthy, and I love it, and I'm glad you all share that with me. Tyler, I expect the offense to have moved forward. I want 40 a game this year. Listen, if there's any way this Notre Dame team could average 40 points with the defense we're going to have, that's a dangerous combination. Even with my questions on the back end and that secondary on the defense, they're still going to be really, really good, in my opinion. I don't see a way they can't be unless 90 guys get injured. That's about it. So if they score 40 a game, that would be literally a new era of Notre Dame football. That's what that would be. 40, we're just not used to that. Even these good Kelly teams, they're not lighting it up, scoring 40, 50 points. It's never built to be a Oklahoma type offense, shoot 'em out type deal. That's just not Kelly's deal. That's not how they try and build the program. I want to see some differences this week tonight. I want to be able to sit there at halftime and go, wow, this offense really does look different. They weren't BSing me when they said they were going to get more aggressive. I need us all to be able to see that and feel that right away. Right away. Don't jerk me around. Don't tell me I'm going to get that and then don't do it and revert back to conservative football. The other thing I don't want to see is this. I don't want to see them try and do some more aggressive type stuff. Maybe it doesn't go great early, and so they scrap it and get all conservative, and we're back to the last couple years of offense. No, that cannot be. That cannot be how this goes. It just can't. It just can't. I had no patience for it. I need to see and feel early on. This is a different ball game. Literally a different ball game on how we play offense. You got the horses. Notre Dame has some elite speed, skill, and talent. Cut them loose. Let's see it. Let's see it. What else do we have here? OJ Simpson is in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Been an Irish fan ever since my days at USC. Juice, I appreciate that, my friend. I do. Big win for USC. They got the dub last night. They might be the best team in that weak Pac-12 where 14 people go to the games total. Okay? Total. So, I don't know, guys. USC might cruise in that Pac-12. Oregon didn't look that good to me. Washington looked like garbage, and they got Michigan coming up. I was hoping Washington could take out Michigan. Washington looked terrible. That whole conference is about to crack off and fall into the Pacific Ocean. Okay? They got real issues down there. Real issues. A lot of comments. People enjoying Miami getting crushed. It's never going to get old. It's never going to get old. It's like, as a Notre Dame fan, you got Alabama versus Miami. Okay, we don't have a great recent history with either of these teams. Who do I want to win that matchup? A asteroid hitting the stadium in the middle of the game is what I want to happen in that matchup. But if I have to pick, I'm picking Alabama over Miami 100 times out of 100 because Miami runs their mouth and acts like they deserve respect, but they don't. At least Alabama actually does. Alabama actually has skins on the wall and has earned respect. Miami talks like it. Miami acts like it, but they haven't done it. That's the difference. That's the difference, okay? Matthew, North Carolina laid a dud. They laid a mega dud. Their offensive line was so bad. They were just getting worked over. It was brutal. They were just getting worked over. They had no answers. It's just like any quarterback. When you don't have time, what are you going to do when you don't have time? You're running for your damn life. So they look bad. I told you. That's the one thing that makes me a little nervous about tonight is seeing all of these offenses that were supposed to be decent struggle week one. Struggle. So I just hope we're not going to be lumped into that group. Wisconsin, 10 points, 16-10. Georgia, Clemson, 10 points. Give me a break. And then you know what else is bugging me too? Oklahoma is supposed to be a top 2 or 3 team in the country. And you're giving up 35 and barely beating Tulane. It's not Tulane. It's too lame the way that Oklahoma operates and continues to get credibility somehow. Let them go to the SEC so they don't walk through this joke of a conference they're in every single year with all offense, no defense. 35 points to Tulane. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. That's interesting. Somebody says they think Clemson's going to lose another game. That's where it gets really interesting because they can make the playoff argument with one loss, running through the ACC, winning that conference as a one-loss Power 5 champion, losing to another really good team. If they lose the second game, that argument's nearly impossible to make. So that is one thing to keep an eye on. Clemson is up against the ropes. You get 2 losses, you're not going to be able to pull that conference title card, I don't believe. I don't believe. Wisconsin is an away game. That's why it's on Fox and not NBC. I don't understand that, though. So our home game against Wisconsin is in Lambeau, and their home game against us is in Chicago. Okay, like whatever, I guess. I don't know. Brian Denbo, long time no watched. Missed you, buddy. Good to have you back. You know, that's the other thing that happens, I notice. There's a bunch of people on YouTube and social media that once college football season's over, they just check out and they're literally like, I'll be back on Twitter as soon as the first game next year. And then out of nowhere, boom, there they are. They're back. So welcome back to everybody who jumps back in on the first game day. Roy boy, John, I was a Michigan fan till my son went to Notre Dame. Woo! I know you and everybody in the chat forgives me. Listen, I'm a long time suffering Irish Catholic. You've repented and you've come to the holy side, Roy boy. You're all good now in the eyes of the Lord, the Golden Dome, Touchdown Jesus, and Always Irish Studios. Straight to heaven for you, Roy. Straight to heaven. FSU fans are so delusional. They think they're going to win by double digits. I mean, there is no statistical viewpoint or hard evidence of on-field player statistics that could make anybody pick Florida State to win this game easily. There is none. That is not, oh, you're a Notre Dame guy, you're being a homer. No, there is simply no statistical facts that could possibly make anybody think Florida State's going to kick the crap out of Notre Dame. If Florida State kicks the crap out of Notre Dame, I am going to say this. It is going to say a lot more about Notre Dame than Florida State if that happens, based on the talent differences and the maturity levels of where these two programs are. If Florida State trounces Notre Dame, this is a Notre Dame problem, not a Florida State thing. That means you're in the middle of a rebuild, not a reload. That's what that means if you lose tonight. You're in a rebuild, not a reload. Oh, well, John, you know, there still might be time for us to get better throughout. It doesn't matter. You lost week 1, which means if you're Notre Dame, your playoff hopes are already hanging by a thread with 11 games to go. So, no, you're rebuilding, not reloading. If you're reloading, you win this game easy. If you're reloading, you win this game easy. Sorry. It could be tough early, get the new offensive line situated, let the crowd calm down. Fine. But you got to be rebuilding, not reloading. It's a dozen years into this coaching regime. Let's go. Dozen years into this coach, super senior quarterback. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Shut up. Stop the chop. Oh, give me a break. Sick of it already. Roy, Daniel Wade says, we all make mistakes, my friend. That's true, but you repented and we forgive you. You're all good now. Diego Roots, Kelly is a grinder. I will say this. I have heard that Kelly is being much more involved in the recruiting, getting out on the road, contacting these kids more frequently. I have heard he's being way more involved with that, and I love it. I love to see it. Okay. Love to see it. Fred Benson, I heard the Indy Star had a story about the woke mob wanting to cancel the Leprechaun. Hey, you all know it if you've been here long enough. That's why Lenny in the corner, just because I didn't want to scare all those people who find the Fighting Irish to be offensive and scary, that's why I gave him that label, the docile Irish. I just don't want anybody to think he's aggressive. So I labeled him docile Irish, just a calm, cool, collected leprechaun. Just for those people who think it's offensive to be called the Fighting Irish. Nobody could give me a bigger compliment in my life than saying you're a Fighting Irishman. There is no bigger compliment to me. Tony says, I need to see another Will Fuller or Golden Tate. Well, listen, there's no reason Braden Lindsay can't be that guy. With his speed when healthy, there is absolutely no reason he can't have that role. But they also have to use him in that role. Somebody has to actually get him the ball. Like, it's not just that guy on the receiving end. That means that the play callers have to be on the same page with wanting to see that kind of activity. The offensive line has to do their part. And you need a quarterback willing to let it go that could get the ball down there. I would love to see them open things up, take some shots tonight. Take some shots. Open it up, even if you don't hit them. Even if you don't hit them. I really like putting it in the minds of Florida State that they have to worry about these deep shots and they can't creep up on the line of scrimmage. Open things up. Mike says he can't believe he had to convince his friends that Notre Dame's going to easily cover 7.5. I don't get it. Tell me what people are seeing from Florida State that makes you think they're within a touchdown in Notre Dame. Tell me. Other than Notre Dame self-inflicting themselves with bad football, I just don't get it. The old gambling thing, you want to give them a field goal for being at home or whatever. I mean, fine. But I think a reasonable line for this is Notre Dame by 10. Start there as a starting point. Notre Dame by 10. Okay, that's what I'm picking. I don't know the score, but Notre Dame by double digits, just based on the program maturity. I'm sorry. It's got to be there. It's got to be there. Is this person trolling me? Trevor, are you trolling me? Are you a Notre Dame fan trolling me? Or do you actually believe this? Or are you delusional? Or do you suffer from a mental illness? Florida State is back to the playoffs. Mark my words. We will beat Notre Dame 35-7 and Clemson 41-24. I don't know if I'm being trolled here. I don't know if Trevor sniffed paint for his lunch. I don't know, but that's the craziest thing I've heard in my entire life. It just is. It just is. Trevor, you might be a nice guy, but that is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I almost hope that you're just messing with me. You can't be serious. Think Florida State's going to beat Notre Dame 35-7 this evening. That can't be a serious statement. You're just messing with me. That you can't be serious. That can't be a real thing. Matt Radke, I'm praying for Kevin Austin to make it through the whole game healthy. That would be a huge win. Not only just for us and for the whole team and the whole program, but it's got to be really frustrating for that guy to not be able to get out on the field for multiple reasons. He could be a true game changer, but he's got to stay healthy, get in a rhythm, find a rhythm, stay in a rhythm, build a rhythm. You just can't do that when you can't be out there enough. So I'm with you. God bless. I hope he stays good. What's in the glass? Ice water, of course. There wouldn't be anything else in a glass like this on game day. It's just good old-fashioned ice water. Trust me. Ryan Henke, because of COVID, could Jack Cohn come back for another year? I don't think so, because he came after last year. So wasn't it last year was the year where you could do that? But then he technically joined Notre Dame after last year. So I don't think he could be out there as like a 30-year-old. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody tell me. Tyler says, I just hope we're not sloppy. It's time we move past that kind of stuff. Here's my concern, and it has to do with the unique environment of tonight's ball game specifically. You know, sometimes in these week one games, it's a little rough early where you feel like both offenses are kind of just easing into the game, and there's a little back and forth here, usually a little bit conservative, and then they kind of feel each other out, what the other defense is doing, and then they start opening things up. You see that a lot in these early ball games, a little sloppiness. Here's the problem. Because of the environment tonight, Notre Dame cannot afford to start out sloppy. Teams like Miami, Florida State, USC, I say it all the time, even when they're down as an entire program, they still recruit enough speed, skill, and talent that they could knock you off if you allow them to. They could knock you off if you allow them to. They shouldn't, but if you allow them to be in the ball game, they make a couple legitimately good plays. You're messing around to do a bunch of stupid crap. The longer you keep a team like this in their home stadium at night, loud crowd, the ghost of Bobby Bowden looking down upon them, all of that. The longer you let that live tonight, the higher the odds are something stupid happening. That's really how I view this. The longer you let them hang around, it increases the odds of dumb stuff happening. Before you know it, it's halfway through the fourth quarter, and I'm sweating my brains out. How's this going to end? Gotta avoid it. Gotta avoid it. You just don't have that flexibility tonight. You just don't. You can't be sloppy tonight. Come out sharp. Come out organized. Come out refined. I know it's going to be loud. I'm going to lose it. If we have the false starts and we got to take a timeout before we call a play, we got to be past that, you guys. 12 years now. We got to be past that. I can't have any of that, especially with a super senior signal caller. Get guys, calm down, get them into the right checks, get the snap count going. This is all a part of why you have a super senior quarterback, is to avoid all of those issues. I trust Cohn is going to deliver in that regard. Tony, welcome in. Texas ND here from Dallas. Welcome in, my friend. Joseph Barrett, Stanford looked bad yesterday. They look atrocious. And I have to tell you, a few years ago, when Stanford was stealing some of the Notre Dame offensive line recruits and guys were deciding which smart school they were going to go to, and we were losing some guys to Stanford, that was unacceptable to me, and it upset me very much. I don't know what happened. Stanford is they're just cratering. They are really bad at football. They are really bad at football, and I'm glad it wiped that stupid smirk off Shaw's face. I hate that stupid, smug smirk he has all the time. Not smirking today, are you? I'm sick of that guy and his little smile like he's smarter than you and knows more than you. So I love that we're not having to compete with Stanford for football players. Academic bowl, maybe. Football players, no. And I do think a part of this has to do with the overall general decline of the Pac-12 in the big picture of college football. The Pac-12 is struggling to get bodies in seats. Their TV deal sucks. Their teams suck. The Pac-12 is struggling, and I do think that's a part of the Stanford decline, and I'm here for it. Wipe that smile off your face, Shaw. Sick of it. Pat, he says, I'm checking in with you, John. Too early to tell how good or bad teams are. Thank you for your efforts. Here's the deal. Hey, you don't got to tell me. I'm the guy who's been saying there should be no AP rankings or any of that till about 5 or 6 weeks past through the season. Give me 5 or 6 weeks. See not only who's won games, but who they are against. That's the other thing, okay? It doesn't do much to me to rank teams preseason based on what they were last year when a bunch of teams lost a lot of talent and they're not even the same team, but you're basing it off last year's team. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But it sells commercials. It sells BSPN's pregame rankings show and all that. There should be no rankings till about week 4, 5, 6. See who did what and who against. And who against. That's when you should see the rankings, okay? But I will say this. While I agree it is probably too early to be able to tell who's really good or bad, you still got to win your games. So I would rather Notre Dame play a rough game tonight that I'm not in love with, but they win the game, and then we can work on our mistakes with one in the win column than the other way around. I agree. It does take a while for things to level out and see who's what. But I'd rather, while we're figuring it out, be on the winning end. That's how I look at it. Ryan Smith, UNC looked like garbage. We're going to eat their O-line for dinner, and Kyron's going to go off for 200. Listen, I know Sam Howell is a gifted quarterback. I know. I love what he's able to do. He's a tough. You know what? You know what Sam Howell reminds me of a lot? Ian Book plus. When I'm watching him, Ian Book plus is kind of what Sam Howell reminds me of. He's real gritty, real grindy, real tough. He can run. Physically, he reminds me of Book. He's just got a better arm and vision for passing than Book. But I do like that about him. But that offensive line looked bad, and that is going to help when Notre Dame plays them because our defensive line does not look bad. They're going to be good again, folks. Notre Dame's defensive line going to be good again. I got news for you. Here's the thing. Marcus Freeman's Marcus Freeman, and I've already shared my love for him, and you all know that. Mike Elston needs to get more credit for the talent he's bringing in on the defensive side of the ball. That he really does. Mike Elston's doing a fantastic job with this defense. Fantastic. Andrew Boomhour, bro, why are you wearing the turnover chain? You must have just joined and weren't there earlier when I put these chains on, making fun of Miami pulling out the turnover chain when they're losing by 80 points. That's why I had the chain on, mocking their chain. We haven't lost yet. I can wear my leprechaun chain. Oh, you guys are funny, man. A lot of people are in the comments trying to figure out who this O.J. Simpson character is, trying to figure out whether it's the real one or not. I don't know. Tyler Robinson, yeah. Howell looked pedestrian without all of his weapons. Yeah. They lost all those offensive weapons and the offensive line got worse. That's going to make it hard on any quarterback to look good, even the good ones. So there's not much you could do then in that case, in that scenario. Jokelahoma, I do like that. I see that. Jokelahoma. I just don't understand. I don't understand. Everybody knows Oklahoma's going to score a lot of points. I get it. But you just can't give up 35 to Tulane and then tell me you're a top 2 or 3 team in the country. You can't. You just don't get to. You don't get to give up 35 to Tulane and tell me you're the second best team in the country, because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I just don't. Mark says FSU's going down in a little bit. Well, I certainly hope so. That's the idea. Connor, how do you think this ND line will do? Expectations? That's actually a very interesting question you propose. I assume that we are talking about the offensive line. The defensive line, I expect and suspect to do very well. Offensive line, this is interesting. I would feel my confidence level with the offensive line being what it is, with the new parts, guys moving around, Madden, the transfer, Fisher, you got a freshman, okay, like just 4 out of 5 new guys. That should make everybody nervous. It should. It really should. If this game was at home, I would feel a lot better about it in terms of handling that environment, the noise, all of it, the whole circus that it's going to be tonight. The whole circus, the whole Florida State thing. Do they still do that thing where they have the horse come in with the flaming spear? I want somebody in the top with a bow and arrow. Shoot that horse on the 50. Sick of that stupid horse. Oh. Florida State. Oh, none of us know how to read. Give me a freaking break. So, my expectations for the offensive line. It wouldn't surprise me if there were some instances, drives, series, plays where the timing just isn't perfect. It's week 1. Even if it was at home, that could be the case. So it wouldn't surprise me, but especially going up against this defensive front of Florida State that, quite frankly, I do not expect to be that great. I expect them to hold their own. I am not saying it's going to be a perfect performance when you're moving around 4 new guys out of your 5 linemen. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you got to do enough. You got to do enough. You can win this game comfortably and have some good film to build off of moving towards Wisconsin. That's kind of what I need. Okay. That's what I need. So it probably won't be great. Might not be great. There could be some mistakes. It just can't be. I am going to absolutely erupt and lose it if this line comes out and it's 4 false starts in the first 3 drives. Turnstile. I thought you were blocking that guy. I thought you were blocking that guy. Meanwhile, Cohn's pile drived 10 yards behind the line. I have no patience for it. And it's like, well, John, they're replacing all these guys. What do you expect? And all that. Here's what I expect. I expect that when Kelly's in his dozenth year, is that even a word? Dozenth? 12th year. I expect you to have guys that can replace guys, go into the league and be ready to play right away. Oh, John, that's not fair. Why? Why not? Why is that not a fair expectation? That when you have guys good enough to graduate and go into the league or leave early and go to the league or whatever, that after a dozen years, you have good players behind them that could play respectable football in trailer Hassie tonight. Why is that too much to expect? It's an honest question. I'm not being sarcastic. But after a dozen years and the offensive lineage that we have at Notre Dame, I expect you to go in there and protect the quarterback, create some running lanes, and make plays tonight. That's all. I don't think I'm asking that much. Seriously, it's a dozen years. Give me a break. Next guy in, let's go. Keep it rolling. Who's Driscoll? That's my buddy, Driscoll, Coach D. That's who that is. How many wins in a row do we have against unranked opponents? That's a really good question. I don't know it, but I think it's a lot. We haven't lost to one of them in a long time, which again is the good sign of a maturing program and a mature program. So I'm happy to report that. I don't know the amount, but I know it's been a very long time since we have lost to one of those teams. And that's been a part of the gradual progression of this Notre Dame team the last few years. And it is a little bit of an odd feeling to me. This is a really philosophical thing to think about. And this hit me yesterday when I was watching all these other games and I was thinking about how I feel about our game. This hit me very hard. I'm asking myself why I am not totally more freaked out and worked up about this ball game tonight, and why, even for me, somebody who's wound so tight and emotional and whatever, why I feel a little bit more calm. And I don't think I realized it, but I think from 2017, 18, 19, 20, and what Notre Dame's done in the regular season, only losing a handful of games, I don't think I felt it, but I feel like I have some comfort and confidence that I didn't know was there, but now it's game day and I kind of feel it. Like, does that make sense philosophically and emotionally? I don't know how, but I feel like some of this confidence kind of crept into me. Like maybe they've been earning it and building it up more than I realized over this run of solid ball the last few years. I don't know how else to put it, but I really do feel that way. I really do feel that way. And it's a little uncomfortable for me. And if I get burned by that tonight, then I'm going to have to revert to the old me, figuring we're just going to lose every game until I see otherwise. I don't know. Somebody said it's Christmas Day. It really is. It really is. Like I was in such a good mood. I just woke up and it was nice outside and Notre Dame's playing and there's nothing to be mad at yet because nothing stupid or bad's happened. Like it really is Christmas morning for adults. That's what yesterday was. I woke up and I was just giddy. I couldn't believe it. And you know what? We all deserve it, man. this last, whenever since COVID started, it has been a rough run for everybody. We all deserve to relax and enjoy some pure, innocent college football. I love it. We all deserve it. We waited for it. We've been counting down, and it's finally here. Finally. Fighting Irish faithful, John, the chain is not your look. What? You're telling me I can't pull off that chain look? Give me a break. D-Rock Irish, no Cebu, Sebo, Logan Diggs, or Botello tonight. I did not know Botello was out. I tried looking up some of this morning. Why is Botello out tonight? Are these guys all injured or what's the deal? I was feeling good all day because I didn't log in Twitter and see a bunch of garbage about half our team being injured. Somebody tell me what's going on with this. I wanted to see Botello behead somebody in the Florida State backfield. What happened? Is this discipline or is this health? Because I don't like it either way. Ryan Hankey, $5 super chat. Thank you for the donation. Line now down to 7 points, and he threw $50 on it. Tell me this is not easy money. I think it is easy money. I just do. I think it's easy money. I do not see a way outside of an epic Notre Dame, South Florida opening up the year against Holtz's kid nightmare. That is the only way Notre Dame loses this ball game. It isn't going to be because Florida State ends up being the best team in the country. No. The only way Notre Dame loses is if we do so many stupid things that we lose the game. That's it. That's all. I'm still waiting on this information. Somebody get back to me and let me know. No Cebu. I don't like this. No Cebu, no Logan, no Botello. Tell me why. I want Botello to take somebody's head off. Why? Daniel Wade thinks Notre Dame breaks the current points per game record, 37.6, averaging 40 this year. I just don't see a Notre Dame Brian Kelly team getting to where you average 40. Because I still think eating up time and running the ball is still going to be a big priority to Kelly, to the point where I just don't know if you're going to score. You might win a lot of games by a lot, but I just don't think Kelly's of the mindset to get in one of those track races to score enough that you end up averaging 40 in a year. I just don't see that. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see it. Matt Radke, I'm guessing COVID. That's not very good. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I just don't. O'Malley said this is clearly the same situation as we encountered nearly weekly last season with COVID. I don't like this. I just don't. I mean, I know everybody's got to deal with it. And I'm not sure if all of our guys are vaccinated or what, or if there's breakthroughs. This COVID thing, that's the other thing, you guys. This COVID thing is still going to be an issue. Like, we're a year removed from, like, nobody being able to be at games, but it's still an issue. You got people all over that are fully vaccinated being careful. Lane Kiffin went out and said his whole team 100% vaccination, and then he still got a breakthrough case. So I don't know. The other way you could look at that is, would you rather have a potential maybe COVID thing and guys could come back soon, or a leg injury that could last a month? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know the details of this situation. Joseph Barrett, he thinks it's 32 straight wins against unranked opponents. Even if that may be right, but even if it's not right, but it's close, that is how you prove you're getting into the next level of college football. When you start not losing dumb games to teams you have more talent than, that is the sign that you're moving up a notch. Okay, you're moving up a notch, and I love it. Daniel Wade, do we forfeit if we wouldn't be able to play a game on the schedule due to COVID? I believe so. I think that's new this year. If you can't play, you get a loss, I think. Or maybe that's conference to conference and we don't have one, so I don't know how that counts. Connor says Jordan Travis getting the start for Florida State. I think that's what most people expected it to be, honestly. Mike Sloan, let's go. Just got back from the money golf game with the local dentist. Got me running behind, prepping my wings. Listen, Mike, I'm all about playing golf the morning of a Notre Dame game. I need anything to get my mind off it, something healthy, competitive, and active for my mind and body. There's nothing healthier than playing golf the morning of a Notre Dame game. That's for sure. Wouldn't be surprised to see Milton splitting with Travis, though. Apparently, Travis has improved his throwing ability greatly. We're about to find out. Listen, Travis was tricky with his feet last time we played him. If he's improved his passing, let's see what happens. Here's the deal, though. Up front, I think is where I just can't see Florida State competing with Notre Dame the whole game. I just think Notre Dame has a huge advantage up front on both sides. And I'm saying that with questions all over our offensive line. I got questions all over our offensive line. And I still feel more confident in it than any of the fronts that they have. And I mean that. Notre Dame dude 88. I told my kids I know a YouTuber and they don't. Yeah, you do. I mean, I'm not the most popular YouTuber. I'm not an Instagram influencer that's popular, but sure, I'll take it. How does Vegas do forfeits? That's a really good question. That might just be one of those situations where they just return your money and count nothing. You know, maybe they just do that. I think that's how Vegas would have to handle it, is to just refund everybody back their dough. Ryan Smith, how can I play golf when I'm this busy day drinking? Golf is perfect for day drinking. Do two things at once, my friend. Two things at once. Matt Radke, just don't be stealing anybody's range balls. Good to know some of you watch the Always Annoyeds and remember them. That old man tried to fight me over range balls. What do you want me to do? Carlos Mayfield, stop the chop. That's my phrase for the week. Stop the chop, okay? Joseph O'Hara, do you think Cohn has more to him than Book does? Here's what's interesting about that. Joseph, and I like that last name, O'Hara, nice Irish name. Joseph, here's what I've been thinking about this Cohn-Ian Book dynamic. Here's where I'm at with this. Been thinking about this a lot since Cohn joined the Irish. Here's how I look at it. I think Book is a better scrambler on the run, make a play that's broken out of nothing type guy. And I think Cohn is a better drop back, make progressions type read and throw the ball to people type guy. So I think their strengths are opposite. So my question is, Can we get enough mobility on broken plays or with his legs from Cohn that it ends up putting us ahead overall than where Ian Book was? You couldn't really rely on the passing, especially anything medium or deep, but you knew he was going to scramble for that first down on a broken play and get it, or scramble and hit a guy. So it wouldn't surprise me if this averaged out to where they're pretty darn similar, but in different ways. Like the overall production averages out, but Cohn's is more with the ball in the air and Book was better running. That wouldn't surprise me. But if Cohn can do all that we're hoping he can with the passing and be a little more mobile than what most people think he is, then you end up with the net plus. Okay. Consistency. That is the one word used to describe Cohn all since he's joined Notre Dame. Consistency. I keep hearing it. That's what we need out of our quarterback. And I want to see it tonight. JKZ drip by Patrick. Hey, turnover chain, baby. It's all about the you. Yeah, you suck. So glad all those people have to eat that L. You know what the problem is, though, with these Miami people? They got their doors blown off, and they're still all going to run their mouths about something. Those people are so chirpy and chatty. I don't understand it. There's no reason to be. No reason to be. But all they do is run their mouths no matter what. Caleb says, I think we'll beat them down physically eventually. That's exactly what I'm kind of envisioning. We have the edge on both fronts. I really do think Florida State's got some athletes. They're going to make some plays. They have some speed. They're going to make some plays. I know that. But over 4 quarters of this ball game, Notre Dame's depth on both, the depth of this defense should be able to overtake anything Florida State has on offense. It just should. I feel really good about that front 7. Get after this kid. Caleb says Vegas does a push if that happens, that's fair. I mean, I think that's fair. You can't write up a loss if the game never was really played. Even if it's like COVID and it's one team's fault they can't field the team. If the game's not played, you can't count that as a loss in Vegas. Oh my God. Who just said that? I scrolled past it. Somebody said they're getting Texas 2016 vibes. Don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you push that on me. That's not good. That was the old Texas is back. Oh, yeah, Texas is back. The reality was Texas wasn't back, and Notre Dame was further from not back. That's what that was. Neither was back. Not even close to back. Super Grande Films, Florida State 27, Domers 23. If Notre Dame loses this ball game to Florida State by a score of 27-23, you don't even want to know what this program is going to be like in the near future. You don't even want to know, because it's going to be really bad it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. So I don't know if Super Grande is ordering for Taco Bell, Nachos Grande, messing with me Grande. I don't know, but I don't even like that put into my mind. 27-23 Florida State. Ooh, doggy. That ain't good. I don't like it. Wow. Super Grande again. Cohn is going to cry tonight. I think we got a Florida State fan in here. This person's running their mouth like they like Miami. You need a turnover chain or what? Come in here running your mouth. I do like it, Super Grande. We do need more of that. I would love for some Florida State people to jump in here and let's hear the other side. Oh, calling Cohn a little girl. Super Grande bringing the heat. Bringing the heat. The only problem is Florida State's not in a position to run their mouths about anything. Do something first, then run your mouth. But I do appreciate the optimism. If Notre Dame loses, it's going to be awesome. I don't know who for, but I'm sure it'd be awesome for some people. It ain't going to be awesome for me. It's going to be awesome for the ratings on this show when everybody logs in afterwards to see my head explode off my body. That'd be good for the numbers, but not good for my sanity. Emmanuel Butler, closer than the experts think. I don't like it. I don't like it. Terry Moore, stop the chop. You need to make a t-shirt out of that. Why the hell didn't I think of that with my clothing vendor midway through the summer? It's a great idea, and I didn't even think of it. Matt D. Dorr made a 58-yard field goal in warm-ups. I love hearing that, except for we're going to score touchdowns. We don't need field goals. I'm not even worried about no 3 points. We're going for a 7 spot. Pat Dunn. Notre Dame 48, FSU 17. Listen, I don't care what it looks like. Any score that ends up in that ballpark is beautiful. Anything near that, I'm not going to complain. You got to take that. Daniel Wade, Coach Coop is the only Hurricane fan I actually respect. Daniel, I actually know who you're talking about. Just because when you're in this YouTube college football world, you start knowing the other people that are in this lane for their teams. He does a really good job. I'll be dead honest with you. Coach Coop, who does the Miami YouTube fan channel, really professional setup, really good content. Things like lighting, background, like sound quality, production value. He does a really good job. I actually do like his show a lot. I really do. I'll give him credit on that one. What else do we have? Cohn puts his name into the Heisman race tonight. That's unbelievable to even think about. If Cohn puts his name in the Heisman race tonight, which I don't think there's a Heisman race yet, because you got to see more of what everybody's going to do. But that would mean to me, if you're saying Cohn's in the Heisman race, to me, that means he throws like 5 touchdowns tonight and runs for another one, right? Like for that to happen, for him to get that attention, I need 5 or 6 touchdowns this evening. That's what I need. Coach Coop did make, listen, people are giving Coach Coop a hard time because he made that rap video, like the diss track against Alabama, and released it, and it got all this media and attention. Yeah, that's called being awesome at YouTube. Like, even if he didn't think Miami was going to win, putting out that diss video, mocking Alabama and doing all that is great for his channel. It's the business. So, yeah, it was silly and not particularly well wrapped, but that's the point. It was funny, lighthearted. He got a lot of media. Good job by him. That's what this is all about, and he knows how to work the system. So good for him. Okay, Stylight. Stylight would be the one to say that. I'm not even going to repeat it, but just read it in the chat section, and It's really funny, but I'm not saying it out loud, but read it because it is funny. And it is based off Kelly's own words. So, Caleb, I expect Williams to get plenty of touches, lots of screens to wide receivers and short routes. Baby Gronk, get Cohn settled in, then hit the chunk plays. Caleb, if I had to pick the roadmap offensively for how I thought this would go, that would be it. Honestly, that would be it. Exactly what you said would be a very Kelly-ish, Reese-like way to do it. And if I had to put money, how's this going to look like offensively initially? What you said would be exactly it. So I agree with you, Caleb. I think you're right on it. And if we see something other than that, I will honestly be surprised. Super Grande, the Knowles win it for Bobby. Listen, I've been saying this since the second Bobby Bowden passed away, that this is one more added thing for Notre Dame to have to deal with and worry about tonight. You already had that it's an away game. You already have travel down to Florida. You already have the heat and humidity. You already have a bunch of fans that are eager for football, that have been drinking all day, that are going to be loud and wound up. You already had all that in this road game environment. Now you're adding the Bobby Bowden Memorial, win one for the Gipper, but it's win one for Bobby. So you add that on the list of things. Now, how much does that matter to these kids that weren't even alive when Bobby Bowden was doing his thing? I don't really know. But for somebody my age, Bobby Bowden was a big part of my childhood with those battles between Lou Holtz and Bobby Bowden. So to me, it's something I think about. I just don't know to these kids if they understand it or what a big deal it is to go out there and win one for Bobby and knock off Notre Dame. I don't know. Hashtag the Freeman factor. Listen, you guys, I am absolutely thrilled out of my mind to see what this defense could look like under Marcus Freeman. Like, that's the exciting part. Like, we have all these legitimate unknown question marks about the offense and the offensive line. Defensively, I'm looking at taking a strength and making it even a bigger strength. That's exciting. Taking what's already working and making it even better. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Let me see these little Marcus Freeman wrinkles. Let me see his blueprint of what to do with our personnel and what different packages and looks we could present. Let me see if there's any energy difference feeding off the fact that he's down there on the field and he's so animated. Let's see it. Can't wait. I'm looking for it. Oh, let's see. Should the Domers be worried about Jermaine Johnson? Yes. Okay, I'm worried. So what? Not that worried. I'm worried, but I ain't that worried. There's different levels of worry. Georgia sucks. They beat an overrated Clemson team. Listen, if you want to tell me Georgia's offense sucks, maybe. But there's no way Georgia's defense sucks. No. Now, I got questions. Here's it is tricky, though. This is tricky. It's tricky because looking at last night, I believe Clemson's defense is very, very good. And I believe Georgia's defense is very, very good. I think when you get against some lesser competition, you'll be able to figure out what the median is for both of those offenses, because they both couldn't do diddly poo on offense. But I can't say Georgia sucks. that defense is going to light people up and behead people all year. I love watching that defense. That defense was flying all over, laying the wood all night last night, and I loved it. Santio, cold beer and ND football. What a day. I love it. You know what, guys? Sometimes it's the simple things in life that make you happy and fulfilled. Crack open a cold beer, watch Notre Dame play. What could be better? Nolan, I'm excited to see Kevin Austin. Tell me about it. Austin 316, finally. He could be the key that unlocks the potential of this wide receiver room. It's going to help the tight ends. It would just help everything if Austin lived up to what we know he could be. It would just open everything else up. It just makes life easier when you have a guy like that. Super Grande, a lot of new guys on your ND team. Beware, FSU has a good coach. He's a motivator. I fully agree with that. I actually think this guy's a very good coach. I really do believe that. I think he's going to get Florida State going in the right direction. I think you tend to underestimate how much bad that he's got to undo from Willie, and that takes years to dig out of the hole Willie Taggart dug them. And I see it getting there, but it ain't there yet. I see it getting there, but it isn't there yet. It takes time to undo all that damage and to get some real talent in there and get it turned over and rid yourself of all that incompetence that came before. It is alarming to me. Programs like Miami and Florida State should never be down, ever. Those programs should never be down, ever, just based on where they are located and the talent. All you got to do is spit in any direction, and there's elite football talent in Florida. It is unacceptable for these programs to be bad. Unacceptable. It should never happen when you have that much talent in your damn own backyard. You should never be that bad, ever. "38 minutes and counting." Yeah, 38 minutes till the coverage starts, and then another 40 minutes till they actually kick the ball off. Yeah, Skalski looks cool. He has a badass name and a neck roll and all that. I saw him out there not making a lot of plays, but complaining to the refs a lot. That's what I saw Skalski doing last night. Ryan says Notre Dame went through a very similar phase from Charlie Weiss to Brian Kelly. It takes time to overhaul an entire culture and roster when you went through a nightmare and then you start over. It takes time, and nobody has the patience for the time it takes. But there's no easy fix to culture. That's the thing. There's no easy, quick fix to culture. You just have to work on it. Takes time. I think this guy's going to be good at Florida State, but they're not there yet. That's my main overarching point of tonight. It could be really good, but they're not there yet. It is not an insult to Florida State. It just takes time to undo the damage that's been done. Oklahoma's a pretender. Well, they're not a pretender on offense, but they're a pretender on defense. You're giving up 35 points to Tulane Give me a break. Number 2 in the country. No, not number 2. This guy disagrees with me on Georgia. I don't think they're good, and I think Clemson is even worse. Listen, I don't know what you're going to get. With Clemson, it's going to be hard to judge now from now on, too, because they just played their toughest game of the year. Now they're going to have way more talent than everybody else they play. See, that's the tough thing about judging Clemson. They just played their one game of the year against good talent. The rest of these are going to be a joke. So, I don't see any other defense they play all year that's going to present the kind of pressure they saw last night. So it's going to be hard to judge Clemson running through the ACC. With Georgia, that offense could struggle. But with that defense, they're going to hang around in every ball game. That offense, I'm not sold on at all. At all. That could be a struggle. And then you're in the SEC. So they do have the most talent of any league. There's no way to deny that. But that defense, they are flying around, hitting people, gang tackling. There was always somebody somewhere in somebody's face. As a guy who loves defense, I love to see it because it wasn't happening against us. So long as it's not happening against us, go for it. Nick Dean says, John, you're killing this. You got to do this again. I'm going to tell you guys something that I haven't told anybody else yet. But for you people that are here now, I'll tell you. Here's what happened. This is an inside scoop. My idea for doing pregame and postgame shows for this season, the idea was to make it a live call-in radio show where I could do exactly what I'm doing right now. And we could still have the text chat, but I also have a live phone number so you could call in and it'd be like a live radio show. So not only could people type in their thoughts, but they could call them in and we could debate and talk about it live as well. I purchased a 312 area code Chicago phone number, hired a tech guy to come over and set all this up and everything I need because I do not have the tech capabilities to do it on my own. So I paid to buy this Chicago phone number. Turns out I need like $1,000 worth more equipment than I have to make it run right the way I want to do it. So I ordered all the equipment and it's not here yet. So I'm disappointed. I thought it was going to be easier to set up. My guy came over and said, John, if you want to do this like a real radio show, you need more equipment. You need a soundboard. You need this. You need a mixer. You need that. I had to buy them and they haven't arrived yet. So the ultimate plan is a call-in show and a type-in chat show. That's where we're going to get. And once I get to the point where it's live call-in radio, then we're really off to the races. Just know it's coming as soon as my mixer and soundboard and God knows what else I ordered. The tech guy said, here's what you need to order. Just order it. As soon as it comes and he gets it set up, Always Irish Radio will be live. So this is fun. But I want to offer a radio version too. That's on the way. Know that. Nolan, what are you going to do? Give out my personal number? Who are you going to give it out to? The Florida State fans so they can harass me? Yeah, that'll be great. Go ahead. Ryan Smith, if we somehow lose tonight, promise you'll make us a Mike Valenti style post-game rant. Ryan, you've been around here a while. You know damn well if we lose this game to this team, you know I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. You know that. Like, there's no doubt. If we lose this ball game, you know I am absolutely going to lose my shit. There's no reason to lose this game. No reason. There is no statistical on paper reason. Looking at these two teams, Notre Dame should lose. There is none. There isn't. You can't make a football argument that suggests anybody should pick Florida State to win. There is no statistical football argument for it. It doesn't exist. There is no argument. There is no argument, you guys. There just isn't. I'm sorry. There isn't. So, here's what we're going to do. I invited family over for this ball game. I went down to my studio. I can hear them all upstairs. I know my guests are here. So here's what we're going to do. This ran just about 2 hours from 4 to 6, and I love it. It feels like it was 5 minutes. But what I want to do now is we're going to end this stream. I want everybody to go get into whatever your little pregame Notre Dame stress out routine is. Be with your people. Do what you need to do. But out of respect for my guests, I'm going to go entertain them now, have something to eat. We will see how this goes. We will see. Irish sucks. Is it true that all Notre Dame fans are speds? Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's obviously true. All Notre Dame fans are speds, especially the ones with perfect SAT scores that you have to go get into Notre Dame. Yes, they are all slow mentally. How'd you know? Good call. See, this is why I wish I had the live call-in number. So Irish Sucks here could give Always Irish a call and we could debate this live. How do you think that'd be for the ratings? Yes, we're all speds. It's one of the most respected academic institutions in the world. But yes, we're all dumb. None of us can read. How'd you know? Good one. Anyways, cheesy Pete's. You know what? I bet this Irish sucks. I got a feeling this isn't even a real Florida State person. I think it's a Notre Dame person, probably somebody I know who created this account just to come do this and get me all worked up. I bet. But we're going to end the show. Everybody get into your pregame routines. Go be with your people. Eat, drink, pace around. Do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do. And then we will reconvene. Football's finally here. I just hope it goes according to plan. Everybody have fun. Enjoy the fact that Notre Dame football's back. Thank you for everybody that joined in the chat, donated on a super chat, or is watching. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. Go Irish. Stop the chop.